The problem says, reflect triangle ABC across the y-axis. What are the coordinates of the endpoints of the image triangle A', B', C', and how did the reflection affect the coordinates of the endpoints of triangle ABC? So it says, move each endpoint across the y-axis, keeping the same distance on either side of the y-axis the same. The important information that my problem told me was that they want me to reflect triangle ABC across the y-axis. So on my graph, I'm going to make that line of reflection that they told me was the y-axis. I want to make it stand out. That is the line that my triangle is going to flip over. On step 1, they want us to write the original coordinate. So for A, I see that it is at 2, 4. Coordinate or point B is at 5, 3. Point C is at 4, -2. Next it says move each endpoint of triangle ABC to the opposite side of the y-axis so that the original endpoint and its image point are each the same distance from the y-axis. So for A, it was at 2, 4. It is 2 units to the right of the y-axis, so I can see that right here, 1, 2. So the A prime must be, they said to keep it the same distance, it's going to be 2 units to the left because it told me to move it to the other side. So if you're reflecting a point, you start at that point, you count how far it is from the line of reflection and go that many on the other side to put the new one. Okay, so if I'm going to reflect A, I start here, 1, 2. I count that same number on the other side, 1, 2. So right here, I'm going to label A prime. To reflect point B across the y-axis, I start at that point and I count how far is it from that line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go 5 on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Label that new point as B prime. To reflect point C, I start at that point, I count how far is this distance to the line of reflection. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go that exact amount on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Label it as C prime. Once you have reflected all of those points, you want to draw that triangle. Because you want to check and see, because on that first page we said that if we do a reflection, it will stay the same size and the same shape, which that one does, so it's congruent, but it did not stay the same orientation because I flipped it over. It's not sitting exactly the same way anymore. Okay, so down here, they want me to give the new coordinates. So my A prime now is at -2, 4. My B prime is at -5, 3. C prime is at -4, -2. Okay, we've already plotted and we've already drawn it. Compare the coordinates of the image endpoints to the coordinates of the original endpoints. Okay, so for the first point, for A and A prime, I see that the x was a 2, but now it's a -2. So it's labeled that it changed to its opposite. For B and B prime, it was a 5, but now it's a -5. It labeled that it changed to its opposite. For C and C prime, it was a 4, but now it's a -4. So they labeled that it changed to its opposite. So it's important not just to look at that point and how it changed, but you want to look at all of them. Because if you only looked at one, you might have thought, oh, it went from a 2 to a -2, so it just subtracted 4. But on this next one, a 5 to a -5, that wasn't a -4. So you look at all of them to make sure they're all doing the same thing. They're all changing to their opposite. On the Y's, notice for A and A prime, it was a 4 and a 4. They labeled it as the same. For B and B prime, 3 and 3 are the same. For the last one, -2 and -2 stayed the same. When you reflect a point across the y-axis, the result is that the x-coordinate of the image point is the opposite the x-coordinate of the original point, and the y-coordinate of the image point is the same as the y-coordinate of the original point. So I'm going to make this part stand out, that it said whenever you reflect over the y coordinates stay the same. So I wonder what happens if you reflect over the x. At the bottom it says, what are the coordinates of the endpoints of image A prime, B prime, C prime? So A prime was -2, 4. B prime was -5, 3. C prime was -4, -2. How did the reflection affect the coordinates of the endpoints of triangle ABC? I'm going to write the algebraic representation. Okay, so that's where we started with the original x and y ordered pair changes to, so we just reflected over the y, we said that the x changes to its opposite and the y stays the same. So for me to show that x changes to its opposite, I say the opposite of x, so you basically make it look like a -x, and then the y stays the same.